So think about when you're sharing your life and your story, you're giving people hope.
Yeah. I hope everybody stop walking through our video. Hey everyone, it's Kanisha.
And hi, I'm Sylvia. Welcome back again. It is another week, another video. So we are going to chat about something that is very important to us, Black History Month. Happy Black History Month to everybody watching this right now. We hope that you are taking this month to learn about the history of people of color. Not just what you see on TV or in popular textbooks, but learn about your history, your background, your family, your culture, where you came from, and, and your future, which Huz is walking around the stairs right now.
Sorry, y'all.
But we hope you're taking this time to learn more about people of color and to just realize how wonderfully talented, gifted, and blessed we are. So Kanisha and I were kind of chatting. You see how she made eye contact? So, Kanisha and I were chatting about Black History Month, and something that came up was our culture and how we like to share our history and stories with our families and the things that we have learned along the way. So we're going to share some of that with you.
All right, now, go down. Okay, so when I think about Black history, I often think that sometimes pieces of our history are left out for many reasons. As we know, there were disadvantages. However, we did overcome because we are some resilient people. Despite what people say, we are some resilient people.
Amen.
We make it out of everything. You know, we laugh our way through it. We encourage our way through it. We stick together. Yes, everybody always talk about how we are so against each other, but we stick together when it really counts, and we can come together, we can overcome. We are a resilient people. But I thought about our history and how there is a lack of how it is carried on in written form.
Yes.
Because we do share our history, but it's typically by word of mouth. It's oral history that we pass on. It's not always written, and I don't believe that I need to say, but there were disadvantages to us being able to physically write out our history. So I thought about that even from a biblical point of view, because when I think about that, I think about Jews and how they are sticklers about passing down traditions. And they tell the story every year. You know, they go back down through history from Jews from Bible times, and they bring it all the way up, and the children have to learn Hebrew, and they have their birthday party. What's it called? The
Mitzvahs.
Yes.
Bar and bats.
Yes, those, and they have to recite things, and you know, they put a big emphasis on that, and we don't do it to that degree necessarily, but we share. And I thought about in the church, present day, one thing that we do is we testify.
Yes.
We testify to one another about how we were able to overcome different situations, and how God was faithful to us. And that is a form of passing down history.
I was going to say, if you're not doing it, it's a good time to start.
Yes. Because when you testify and you tell somebody about how you were able to overcome something, it encourages them.
It does. And it helps them feel the connection to you as maybe someone who they didn't know before they joined the body of Christ. But it helps us identify that oneness and being a believer, and seeing, you know, if Kanisha's had this experience and she's been able to overcome it, my experience is similar to what she's talking about. I can overcome that too.
And then also it allows you to live on past you. So when you die physically, you know, the memory of you continues to live on. Like, it's a joy to sit around and talk about how grandmama used to do such and such, or how mother so and so would testify about this and
sang her song
and how she used to dance. You know, like the kids mimicking everybody. You know,
it's your passing down of that heritage.
Yes,
which is really valuable to us, especially as Black men and women, because we came from a history that was trying to snuff that out. Who we were, our identity, what we knew about ourselves. To have the freedom and the ability to now share that with our children and the children's children and the nieces and nephews in the neighborhood, to allow us to take ownership and grab hold of that heritage and to keep it going is a really great value, and we should take advantage of that.
And it speaks to our resilience.
Yes.
Because we will tell it with a smile, we'll tell it crying, whatever it may be, how we're feeling, we tell it. And it helps, and it encourages, and it pushes forward those who are coming behind you. Yeah, so the passing down of the oral history, it helps to instill values. To instill, develop, you know, the values of the people who are underneath you. Like, we underestimate the influence that we have on someone else, you know, as a aunt, a sister, a mother, a father, brother, whatever magnitude you are working in somebody's life, whatever time you take up with them. And it doesn't have to be a formal standing up in the congregation testifying, but when you are having dinner around the table and you're talking to your family, you are testifying to them. You're telling them about how you overcame, how things were challenging for you, and then also keeping in mind that they've, in some cases, lived through it with you.
Yes.
And they may not have known at the time what was going on, but when they get old enough and they're able to think back and remember this, that, and the other, it puts a different spin on it.
You were talking about some of the things that it does. What came to my mind is it also gives you hope. So I remember, and now this was a testimony in church, but a woman who's a friend of my mother, when I was having surgery, before I had the surgery, I was told to testify. So I had nothing to say. You know, I'm still kind of feeling some kind of way about it.
I ain't ready yet.
But I'm not a stubborn person. Yeah, I am. I'm not a rebellious person. I got up and got in line. The woman in front of me testified and said she wanted to thank the Lord and give honor to God because she just heard that she was cancer free. Now, I was standing as close to her as I'm sitting to Kenesha. And at that time, you know, I was kind of in my, like, you know. And when I got up to the mic, I said, my testimony is I want her testimony. And so that's how some of us are. When we hear the history or the stories of our, you know, she had talked about, you know, what she had went through in her testimony. It was more than 2 seconds. But when she got done, that's what I wanted. And so when we hear how people overcome and how people have progressed, how people have persevered, how people have been successful, we want to have that story.
Yeah.
When I'm 88, 99, 102, whatever, I want to have that victorious story about my life that I have heard before.
It was something else I wanted to say, but you know, I kind of lost my train of thought.
Did you say something about learning? Because I thought about something with learning. So,
well, here you go, and then maybe I'll pick back up if I can find a place to put it.
I was listening to someone read a prayer one day. And the prayer was written by another person, and they were sharing it. And one of the things that they expressed in that prayer, and it goes back to your thoughts of journaling and things. So sometimes your thoughts and your feelings are valuable, and they help people learn as well. They wrote in that prayer, help me not to see my challenges as threats, but instead to welcome them as friends. And my head popped up, and I thought about that. And you all have heard in our videos how I've grudgingly faced some challenges, and every time, you know, something came up, I was just grumbling, mumble, grumble about it. But that moment that I heard that, it clicked in my mind that my perspective needed to change.
Yeah.
But because someone else was willing to share their story and their experience, and that person may never meet me, and I may never see them, but because that story was put on paper, Kenesha said get past the oral part, that whoever that was, a woman, whoever she was, put it on paper and shared it with someone who shared it with someone who shared it with me.
Yeah.
And it changed my perspective.
And it keeps it authentic. It keeps the authenticity about it so that it's not lost over time.
Right.
Because that's one thing that you run into with the oral passing down. I'm not saying that it's not good to do, and I'm not saying that we need to stop doing it. I'm just saying we should add to it. Add to it.
Build on it.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not just a celebrity thing. Your life, your story, your actions, your involvement in the world around you matter. You were here for a purpose, and you should share that. And we as Black people need to remember our value and what an asset we are, and that we are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Amen.
And we are beautiful creations made by the hand of God, and so we matter. And if all I did was love and care for people, I did the best thing I could do in life. And that should be shared. So find out your Black history and then purpose to create some Black history.
Yeah.
For the Lord,
like
some
that.
good history. Some good history. Okay, I have 18 on Thursday.
That's better than one.
I have 6 on Friday, and
Oh.
I have -2 on Saturday.
Negative.
I don't know if I'm coming back.
I ain't coming out negative
I
two.
don't know.
Negative two.
I'm gonna have to do it for the word before.
Is that?
And I have 7 on Sunday.
Ain't nobody coming out. Don't nobody want to be out in that frigid weather.